Dear Diary, some significant concepts that I pulled from modules 3 and 4 were the importance of teamwork and strengths, because one TED Talk from module 4 talked about how we could be much more productive in society if we weren't so competitive all the time and we used our resources to work together. Um, Companies that have promoted working together with other companies were much more productive, and promoting working together within companies were also much more productive. Some companies have banned drinking coffee at your desk to make employees have to get up and go to the break room and talk with their other employees, which has actually increased profit margins. Companies also solve problems much faster when they ask for help from outside sources instead of working within. The TED Talk cited specifically an engineering company that had to come up with a way to deal with all the waste from Olympic horses when they were building the equestrian facility. And instead of doing months of research on how much waste that would be and blah, 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 they asked someone who had experience with this and they got the problem solved in one day instead of wasting all that time. So it was much more efficient for these people to, be working together and to be competing with each other. And I can remember, from day one that competition is a good thing. You're always taught to, win in sports and be at the top of your class, get into the best college. And I don't really remember learning on like supporting other people or learning about supporting other people. The only time that we ever really did teamwork was in class in group projects, but most people I think hate group projects because high achievers just want to do everything on their own and get it over with, and then there's always the people who don't want to do anything and they kind of drag the project behind. So I think it makes the schoolwork more complicated. So that's a deterrent for group work. Um, I feel like if working together was more highlighted in education, people and students could be much more productive. Um, some emotions. I felt hopeful that with the knowledge we have on like strength and teamwork, that the world we live in can become less competitive. A lot of stuff nowadays is every man for themselves. You see a homeless guy on the street, you just walk right by. And competitives means we don't help each other improve our strengths either, because if you see someone doing well, you know, you kind of envy them and you wish for their downfall because that means you have to compete. Um, and in fact, in like America, it's taboo to be proud of yourself and your strengths too. And that's just how Americans are. If we could acknowledge our own strengths, get better at them, and then point out other strengths so they could improve in places they need to improve or focus on what they're good at, then we could become much more productive. So that was a hopeful feeling. Um, I was curious about the Gallup test. I took it once a while ago, and I don't remember what my results were. Um, and I looked for one online, couldn't find one. Um, I'm wondering how accurate the test is in summarizing strengths, because it's just 5 categories with 34 strengths. I'm curious if it's missing anything. I couldn't come up with anything. It does seem pretty covered, but and if you're building a work team, I'm wondering if employees want to mix up all the strengths, or do they want to look for specific strengths for specific jobs? And how seriously do employers take this test? Do they, you know, is this really applicable in the professional world? Because I know I took it at some job fair, so I'm wondering if this is something people take pretty seriously. What I am interested in discovering about myself is I'm curious about my blind window. After reading about the Johari window, I was realizing there's a lot that other people see about me all the time that I have no idea exists, and I'm curious about how I can uncover these things. Um, it happens all the time. My friend said something about me the other day, and I was like, oh, she said I was stingy. I was like, you know what? I am. I totally didn't realize it. Um, and how we can apply this knowledge to the program. I'm working with a large group of people to come up with an educational program for Musha and Rwanda. We're talking about STEM with the students. And and we've been pretty productive, but we don't really know that much about the area we're going into. And the TED Talk in Module 4 talked about getting things done in teams isn't about intelligence, but it's about listening to others and empathy. So I'm hoping that when we arrive in Rwanda, we can talk to the locals and the NGO members without dominating the conversation and trying to be on top, because we don't know that much about STEM education or the area we're going into. And I think if we used, understanding, empathy, and patience to learn from others, equal communication, we won't be competing, we'll be working together. And hopefully that way we can accomplish something productive with the kids that we'll be working with instead of just trying to win. So, yes, sincerely, Catherine. Okay.